What if I told you that the greatest enemy you face is not the world around you, but the version of yourself you refuse to confront? What if the key to true mastery isn't in changing others, but in mastering yourself? Today, on Modern Stoicism, we're diving deep into how you can discover yourself, master yourself, and transform yourself into the unstoppable force you were always meant to be. Stick around, because this journey is about to unlock the most powerful version of you. Welcome to Stoic Mastery, your go-to channel for exploring the timeless principles of Stoicism, personal growth, and mastering the mind. If you're ready to take control of your life, break free from limitations, and conquer the mental battles that keep you stuck, then you've come to the right place. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because each week we bring you deep dives into the philosophy that will change your life. Turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to transform your mindset. Now let's get started. Section 1. The greatest battle, confronting yourself. There's a battle that everyone faces, one that no one talks about. It's not a battle with the outside world, nor is it a battle you fight with anyone else. This battle is fought in the deepest recesses of your mind. The greatest challenge you will ever face is not the world, not your enemies, not even the circumstances around you. The greatest challenge is confronting yourself, the version of you that you've been avoiding, the version of you that hides behind excuses, fear, and comfort. This is where the true power of Stoicism lies, in the ability to look inward, acknowledge your weaknesses, and face the harsh truths that most people will never confront. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that the very obstacles that we fear are the ones that, if we choose to face them, will propel us toward our true potential. And one of the greatest obstacles we face is the resistance within ourselves. You might be wondering, why should I confront my inner demons? What if I don't want to face my flaws? The truth is, until you face yourself, you'll never be able to change. Avoiding the pain of self-confrontation may provide momentary relief, but it ultimately keeps you locked in a cage of mediocrity. Every time you avoid the truth, you delay your growth. Every time you push aside your fears, your anger, your regrets, you allow them to control you instead of you controlling them. Imagine being trapped inside your own mind, held hostage by self-doubt, insecurities, and the stories you tell yourself about who you are. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to look outward, to compare ourselves to others, to chase external validations. But the real power lies in looking inward and confronting the truth of who you are. When you do this, you will discover not just your flaws, but also your strengths, your potential, and your untapped power. Why is this the greatest battle? Because it's uncomfortable. It's much easier to distract yourself with external things, work, entertainment, social media. It's easier to point fingers at others and blame them for your circumstances. But true strength comes from within. When you choose to confront yourself, to truly discover who you are, you unlock the door to limitless possibilities. Stoicism teaches us to face the truth, no matter how difficult it may be, because only then can we grow and achieve mastery over our lives. It's important to understand that self-confrontation isn't about self-criticism. It's not about punishing yourself for your past mistakes. It's about awareness, recognizing the areas in your life where you've been holding yourself back. Whether it's fear of failure, a lack of discipline, or a tendency to procrastinate, you need to confront these issues head-on in order to move past them. When you confront your weaknesses, you gain the power to change them. When you face your fears, you disarm them. It's the Stoic way, to take responsibility for your own growth, to understand that everything in life is an opportunity to learn and evolve. The more you embrace this mindset, the more you become the person you were meant to be. So, let's get real. What parts of yourself have you been avoiding? What truths about yourself are you afraid to face? Now is the time to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I running from? What do I need to confront to become the best version of myself? Call to action. If you've ever faced resistance within yourself, drop a comment saying, I confront my demons daily. This is where it all begins. Facing yourself and starting the journey toward real change. Section 2. Discovering your true self, breaking the illusions. In a world that constantly tells you who you should be, the hardest task is to find out who you really are. From the moment we're born, we're told how to act, how to think, and what's expected of us. Society, family, friends, and even our own minds create narratives about who we are supposed to be. But here's the harsh truth. The version of yourself that you've been living as might not be the real you at all. The first step in your journey toward mastery is discovering your true self. This requires a deep level of self-awareness, something many people shy away from because it's uncomfortable. But it's only by confronting the illusions we've been living in that we can finally step into the life we were meant to lead. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." If you want to discover your true self, you must first let go of the false narratives you've created about who you are. But where do these illusions come from? Society, for one, tells us who we should be. Through media, culture, and expectations, we're bombarded with messages about success, beauty, wealth, and happiness. These external influences mold our perceptions of self-worth and often keep us trapped in a cycle of comparison. Am I good enough? Am I successful enough? Do I look like everyone else? These are the questions that plague us, and they distort our sense of who we really are. In addition to societal pressures, there's the personal narrative we tell ourselves, the stories we've internalized about our abilities, our worth, and our potential. From a young age, we may have been told we weren't good enough or that we would never amount to much. Those messages get embedded in our psyche, and we start to believe them. This is a form of self-deception, and it's one of the greatest obstacles to discovering your true self. The real you is buried beneath these layers of false beliefs. But here's the good news. You can change that. The first step is becoming aware of the illusions you're living under. This is where Stoic principles can help you cut through the noise. The Stoics were masters at questioning the narratives around them and seeking clarity about reality. They taught that everything external is transient and out of your control, and the only thing that truly matters is the state of your mind. When you strip away the external distractions, what you're left with is your true self, untouched by societal pressures, expectations, or past failures. How do you begin this process? Start with self-reflection. Set aside time each day to reflect on your thoughts, actions, and beliefs. What are you doing out of habit? What are you doing because it's what others expect from you? What do you believe about yourself that might not actually be true? Start writing down your thoughts, exploring why you think and feel the way you do. This is the first step in breaking free from the illusions that hold you back. Once you begin to see the illusions for what they are, the next step is to ask yourself the tough questions. What do I truly want? What are my core values? What is my purpose in this life? These aren't questions you can answer overnight, but they are the questions that will reveal the truth of who you are and who you are meant to become. Stoicism teaches us that discovering the truth about ourselves is an essential part of growth. We are not meant to live in a state of confusion or to be swayed by external influences. We are meant to live with clarity, guided by our internal values and a deep understanding of our true nature. The more you peel back the layers of false beliefs, the more you will discover a powerful, authentic version of yourself. Section 3. The power of self-reflection in Stoicism. Self-reflection is the gateway to personal growth and transformation. It's the practice of stepping back, looking at yourself honestly, and analyzing your thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment. This practice is central to Stoicism and is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal to master yourself and ultimately transform your life. The Stoics were deeply committed to self-reflection. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most famous Stoic, wrote extensively in his personal journals, later known as his Meditations, where he constantly reflected on his actions, thoughts, and beliefs. He wasn't writing for anyone else, but rather as a way to confront himself, understand his own mind, and align himself with his Stoic values. He understood that only through deep self-awareness could he control his emotions and thoughts, and therefore control his actions. Self-reflection allows you to take a step back from the constant chaos of life and observe it from a more objective perspective. This is vital because, as human beings, we are often swept up in the turbulence of our emotions, our environment, and the pressures from the outside world. It's easy to get lost in this whirlwind and forget the power we have over ourselves. Without self-reflection, we can easily lose touch with what truly matters, and our lives can be led by default rather than by design. But there's a deeper aspect of self-reflection that goes beyond simply analyzing actions. It also involves confronting dark psychology, the unconscious mind, and the hidden forces that shape our behaviors. We all have blind spots, things about ourselves that we refuse to see or understand. These blind spots can often be the root of self-sabotage, fear, and failure. For example, you might find yourself procrastinating or avoiding difficult tasks, but unless you examine the root cause of this behavior, you'll never understand why you're holding yourself back. Self-reflection is the process of uncovering these hidden triggers and patterns, and once you understand them, you gain the power to change them. Stoicism teaches us that we should not just reflect on our actions, but also on our reactions. It's easy to react impulsively to life's challenges, but true strength lies in controlling those reactions. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This response is where the true power lies. Through self-reflection, you can analyze your emotional responses, understand their origins, and decide whether they align with your values and goals. Here's a practical exercise in self-reflection. Each evening, take a few moments to look back on your day. Think about your actions, decisions, and emotional responses. Were they in alignment with your Stoic principles of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance? What could you have done better? What did you learn? This practice will not only make you more aware of your behavior, but it will also help you see where you need to improve. Moreover, self-reflection is not about criticizing yourself. It's about gaining clarity. It's about understanding that life is an ongoing process of learning, growing, and improving. There is no failure, only feedback. If you reflect on your mistakes, your failures, or even your successes, you gain valuable insight into the choices you make and how they align with your true purpose. Over time, this practice will help you make better decisions, control your emotions, and react to life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Call to action. Like this video if you're ready to start reflecting on your own life. If you're already using self-reflection in your daily routine, drop a comment saying, "I reflect to grow." Let's continue the journey of self-mastery. Section 4. Mastering your emotions. The Stoic way. Emotions are an inherent part of being human, but they do not have to control your life. In fact, one of the most powerful tools you can develop on the path to self-mastery is the ability to control your emotional responses, rather than letting your emotions control you. Stoicism offers profound insights into how we can manage our emotions, and through this practice, we gain greater clarity, peace, and strength. The Stoics believed that emotions or passions arise when we are attached to external things, like outcomes or other people's opinions. These attachments, they argued, are the root cause of negative emotions such as anger, fear, jealousy, and sadness. For example, when things don't go as we expect, we feel frustrated, upset, or defeated. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus taught that we must learn to control our emotional responses by changing the way we perceive the world around us. By doing so, we stop giving power to external events and instead take full ownership of how we react to them. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This insight lies at the heart of Stoic thought. We can't control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. When an event triggers an emotional reaction, we must stop and ask ourselves, is this really within my control? Is this emotion aligned with my values? This simple yet profound shift in perspective allows us to transform negative emotions into opportunities for growth. One of the most important Stoic techniques for mastering emotions is the practice of cognitive reframing, the ability to reframe a situation to see it in a different light. For instance, if you fail at something, you can either react with frustration and self-doubt, or you can choose to see it as a learning opportunity. Instead of viewing failure as something negative, you can shift your mindset and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This reframing helps you see your emotions not as obstacles, but as tools for personal growth. However, this level of emotional control doesn't happen overnight. It requires daily practice and commitment. One powerful method for cultivating emotional discipline is mindfulness, the practice of observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. By regularly checking in with yourself, you can develop the ability to observe your emotions as they arise without immediately reacting to them. This mindfulness allows you to detach from impulsive reactions and choose a more thoughtful, stoic response. Dark psychology also plays a role here, as it helps us understand the subconscious triggers that shape our emotions. Often, we experience strong emotional reactions because we have unresolved fears, insecurities, or past experiences that influence us. By becoming aware of these psychological drivers, we can detach from them and stop letting them control our emotional state. In this way, we take back control and rewire our emotional responses. The Stoics weren't advocating for emotional suppression, but rather for emotional mastery. To be a Stoic is not to be emotionless, but to experience emotions in a healthy and balanced way. It's about understanding your feelings, but not letting them dictate your actions. It's about recognizing that you are the master of your mind, and that your emotions are just data, not commands. Call to action. Like this video if you're ready to master your emotions and take control of your reactions. Comment, "I am the master of my mind," if you're determined to stop being ruled by your emotions. Section 5. The discipline of self-control, willpower over weakness. Self-discipline is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, and without it, even the best intentions and the highest goals will remain out of reach. The true power of Stoicism lies in the ability to govern yourself, to make choices that align with your deepest values, and to resist the countless distractions that threaten to pull you off course. Self-discipline is not just about avoiding temptations. It's about shaping your life through conscious and intentional action. The Stoics emphasized that true freedom comes from controlling our actions and desires. As Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This principle teaches us that if we can't control ourselves, we are slaves to external circumstances, emotions, and impulsive desires. Without self-discipline, we are left vulnerable to the fleeting pleasures of the world, which often lead to dissatisfaction and regret. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. From social media to entertainment, food and shopping, The constant bombardment of instant gratification makes it harder to stay focused on our long-term goals. The Stoic approach challenges us to resist these temptations and to focus on what truly matters. We cannot control everything around us, but we can control our responses and how we direct our energy. The Stoics practiced self-discipline through daily routines and habits. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, maintained a strict schedule that allowed him to focus on his responsibilities and personal growth. For him, discipline was not an afterthought, it was an integral part of his success. Through his actions, Marcus taught us that a disciplined life is a life of purpose. To build self-discipline, start by establishing small, consistent habits. The Stoics believed that the little things matter. Whether it's journaling, exercising, or reading, creating positive rituals each day strengthens your willpower. Over time, these habits build momentum, helping you stay committed to your goals, even when faced with challenges. Another key Stoic principle is emotional control. Emotions like fear, anger, and insecurity often lead us to make impulsive decisions that derail our progress. Dark psychology helps us understand that many of these emotions come from unconscious fears or past traumas. By examining these psychological triggers, we can learn to detach from them and make choices based on logic and long-term vision, rather than on momentary impulses. Self-discipline is not about suppressing emotions or avoiding discomfort. It's about choosing to endure temporary pain for long-term gain. It's about having the mental strength to stay aligned with your values, even when things get tough. When we act with purpose and integrity, we strengthen our resolve and improve our capacity for self-control. In the end, self-discipline is about mastering yourself. Every decision, no matter how small, is an opportunity to choose the path of wisdom and virtue over the path of instant gratification. With each disciplined choice, you build the life you desire, one that aligns with your highest potential. Call to action. Like this video if you're ready to develop discipline in your life. Comment, "I choose my path," if you're committed to making disciplined choices that align with your purpose. Section 6. The Dark Art of Self-Sabotage. Understanding the Inner Saboteur. Self-sabotage is one of the most insidious barriers to personal growth. We all have an inner critic, a voice that tells us we're not good enough or that we don't deserve success. At times, this inner voice isn't just a nagging thought. It becomes the very force that keeps us stuck in negative patterns, preventing us from achieving our goals. Recognizing and confronting the mechanisms of self-sabotage is essential to mastering yourself, and understanding the principles of dark psychology can help reveal why we sometimes stand in our own way. The truth is, much of our self-sabotage is unconscious. It's easy to blame external circumstances or other people when things don't go as planned, but the harsh reality is that often the biggest obstacle we face is ourselves. We procrastinate, we give in to distractions, we avoid difficult tasks, and sometimes we even actively push away opportunities. All of these behaviors stem from an underlying fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection, or simply fear of change. Stoicism teaches us that we are responsible for our thoughts and actions, and this responsibility includes confronting the negative behaviors and self-doubts that arise from within. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle emphasizes that you can choose how to respond to your fears and insecurities. You don't have to be at the mercy of your inner saboteur. The first step in overcoming self-sabotage is recognizing the patterns. Think about the moments when you've procrastinated or avoided something important. What was going through your mind? Often, when we avoid tasks, it's because we feel overwhelmed or fear that we won't perform perfectly. We set unrealistic expectations for ourselves, and then, when we inevitably fall short of those expectations, we use it as a reason to stop trying altogether. But this cycle can be broken once you recognize that perfectionism and fear of failure are often at the heart of self-sabotage. Once you identify the patterns, the next step is to reframe your thinking. Dark psychology teaches us that we can use our mind's natural tendencies to our advantage. The subconscious mind is full of ingrained beliefs and automatic behaviors that guide our decisions. By becoming aware of these, we can choose to redirect them. For instance, instead of fearing failure, you can begin to view failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of seeing effort as a burden, you can reframe it as a necessary step toward mastery. A Stoic approach to self-sabotage involves accepting that mistakes and setbacks are part of life. They are inevitable, but they are also teachable moments. The Stoics believed in embracing discomfort and using it as fuel for growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that the very obstacles we fear or avoid can become the stepping stones that lead us to mastery if we face them head-on. Ultimately, overcoming self-sabotage is about changing the narrative we tell ourselves. It's about recognizing the fears and limiting beliefs that drive our behavior and choosing to act in a way that aligns with our true potential. Self-mastery doesn't come from avoiding difficulties. It comes from confronting them, learning from them, and continuously evolving. Call to action, like if you're ready to face your inner saboteur and start taking action toward your goals. Drop a comment saying, "I am my own greatest ally," if you're committed to breaking the cycle of self-sabotage. Section 7. Embracing adversity. The Stoic path to strength. Adversity is a fundamental part of life, yet many of us try to avoid it at all costs. We look for comfort, ease, and security in every aspect of our lives. However, as the ancient Stoics knew, true strength is forged in the fire of adversity. Life will inevitably bring challenges, setbacks, and hardships. How we respond to these obstacles determines not only our personal growth, but also the quality of our lives. Stoicism teaches us to embrace adversity as a necessary and valuable part of the journey towards self-mastery. The Stoic philosophers believed that challenges are not obstacles to avoid, but opportunities to grow. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Every challenge we face is a chance to develop resilience, sharpen our skills, and become more aligned with our inner virtues. By choosing to face adversity with courage and wisdom, we don't just survive, we thrive. This mindset shift is essential to understanding the Stoic approach to life. Life is not about avoiding hardship, but about confronting it head-on and using it to become stronger. One of the most powerful Stoic exercises for embracing adversity is the practice of negative visualization. This involves imagining worst-case scenarios and mentally preparing for them. It might sound counterintuitive to imagine failure or suffering, but the Stoics believed that by doing so, we reduce our fear of those very outcomes. When we acknowledge that bad things can happen and accept them as part of the human experience, we are less likely to be overwhelmed when challenges arise. We also learn to value what we have and develop a sense of gratitude for the present moment. The key to this practice is acceptance. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control the external world, we can control our reactions to it. Adversity is an inevitable part of life, but it is not the adversity itself that shapes us. It's how we choose to respond. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, emphasized this in his Meditations. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When we recognize that we have the ability to choose how we react to adversity, we empower ourselves to face challenges with strength and clarity. In addition to acceptance, Stoicism teaches virtue as the ultimate response to adversity. Virtues like wisdom, courage, and temperance allow us to act with dignity, even in the face of hardship. For example, when we face personal loss or disappointment, we can choose to act with wisdom, reflecting on the lesson that adversity offers, rather than succumbing to anger or despair. When we face a difficult decision or challenge, we can use courage to take action, even when we feel fear. Moreover, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control and let go of the rest. This is one of the core principles of Stoic philosophy. By focusing our energy on our thoughts, our responses, and our actions, we can navigate even the toughest situations with grace and purpose. In embracing adversity, we discover that hardship is not something to be feared, but something to be used as a tool for growth. When we choose to face challenges with courage, we transform them into stepping stones toward a stronger, wiser version of ourselves. Call to action. Like if you're ready to embrace adversity and use it as fuel for growth. Comment, "I am stronger than my challenges," if you believe that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow. Section 8. The power of detachment. Letting go to gain more. One of the most powerful concepts in Stoicism is detachment, the ability to let go of things, people, and outcomes that we cannot control. In a world that constantly encourages attachment to material possessions, status, and approval from others, the Stoic principle of detachment offers a path to true freedom. By learning to detach ourselves from the external world, we can regain control over our emotions, actions, and happiness. The paradox is that by letting go of the things we believe we need, we actually gain more peace, more clarity, and more freedom to live a life aligned with our deepest values. At first glance, detachment might seem like a form of indifference or even apathy, but in reality, detachment is not about disengaging from life. It's about freeing yourself from the mental and emotional grip of things that are beyond your control. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught that we should focus only on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. Everything else, whether it's the opinions of others, external events, or even our own past mistakes, is beyond our control. When we learn to detach from these external factors, we stop allowing them to dictate our happiness and peace of mind. The Stoics weren't suggesting that we should stop caring about things that matter. On the contrary, they believed that we should care deeply about living virtuously, contributing to society, and building meaningful relationships. But they also understood that attachment to outcomes can be harmful. When we attach ourselves too strongly to the idea of success or failure, we set ourselves up for suffering. If we define our self-worth based on external validation, we become vulnerable to disappointment and insecurity. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Don't hanker after what you don't have, but think of the things you do possess and be content with them." By practicing detachment, we can learn to appreciate what we have in the present moment without clinging to it. One of the key benefits of detachment is the reduction of stress and anxiety. When we let go of the need to control every aspect of our lives, we free ourselves from the constant pressure of expectation. Think about how much stress we experience when we obsess over the approval of others or worry about things that are out of our control. Detachment allows us to focus on what truly matters: our character, our actions, and our values. Instead of being consumed by external circumstances, we learn to find peace within ourselves. Another crucial aspect of detachment is its role in fostering resilience. When we are detached from the outcome, we can approach challenges with a sense of equanimity. Life may not always go the way we plan, and setbacks are inevitable. However, when we aren't attached to specific outcomes, we can adapt and find new ways to move forward. We are not crushed by failure, but rather, we see it as part of the process, something to learn from and grow through. Detachment also allows us to foster healthier relationships. When we detach from the need for others to meet our expectations, we can experience more authentic connections. We stop seeking validation from others and instead enjoy relationships for what they truly are, mutual connections based on respect, understanding, and shared values. In the end, the practice of detachment doesn't mean rejecting the world. It means engaging with it without being controlled by it. It means letting go of what holds you back and creating space for peace, clarity, and growth. Call to action. Like if you're ready to embrace detachment and free yourself from what holds you back. Comment, I choose peace over attachment, if you're committed to focusing on what truly matters. Section 9. Using your mind to shape your reality. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot always control external events, we have full control over how we perceive them and therefore how we respond. This power lies in the ability to shape your reality through your thoughts. The Stoics believed that our internal world shapes our external world, and by mastering our minds, we can influence the course of our lives. The first step to using your mind to shape your reality is to recognize the power of perception. Perception is the lens through which we view the world, and how we interpret events greatly influences how we experience them. Two people can face the same circumstance. One might see it as an obstacle, while the other sees it as an opportunity. The Stoics taught that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgment of them. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This idea is at the core of Stoic philosophy. By changing the way we perceive situations, we change how we experience them. This doesn't mean that we should ignore pain, suffering, or difficulty. Stoicism teaches us to face challenges head-on, but it emphasizes that we can choose how to respond. If you find yourself facing adversity, you can view it as an opportunity for growth rather than a punishment. By changing the narrative in your mind, you can begin to reframe your experiences in a way that empowers you. Cognitive reframing, a powerful psychological technique, is at the heart of this Stoic practice. It involves intentionally shifting your perspective on a situation in order to view it from a more constructive angle. For example, when you face failure, rather than seeing it as a setback, you can reframe it as a lesson, an opportunity to learn and grow. This mindset shift allows you to turn obstacles into stepping stones on your journey to self-mastery. Another key element in shaping your reality is mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions in real time. This awareness gives you the ability to stop, pause, and choose your response, rather than reacting impulsively. The Stoics were masters of this practice. They often reflected on their thoughts through journaling and self-examination. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, would write down his thoughts in his meditations, constantly checking himself for alignment with his values. This practice allowed him to course-correct and remain focused on his ultimate goals. Through mindfulness and self-reflection, you can develop greater control over your mind. When you notice negative or limiting thoughts, you can challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought based in reality? Is it serving me? Is it helping me move toward my goals? By questioning your thoughts, you can start to break free from negative patterns and replace them with thoughts that align with your vision for your life. The idea that you can shape your reality with your thoughts might sound abstract, but it is a concrete tool for living a better life. As you gain more control over your mind, you begin to direct your energy toward what truly matters. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your future. call to action. Like this video if you're ready to master your mind and begin shaping your reality. Comment, "I control my thoughts," if you believe that your mindset determines your success. Section 10. The importance of purpose, finding your path. Purpose is the compass that guides us through life. It's what gives us direction, motivation, and a reason to keep moving forward, even in the face of obstacles. Without a clear sense of purpose, life can feel aimless and our actions can lack meaning. Stoicism teaches us that finding and living in alignment with our purpose is one of the most important aspects of achieving true happiness and fulfillment. Purpose is not just a goal or a dream. It's a deeply rooted understanding of why we do what we do. The Stoics believed that living with purpose is essential to living a good life. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, constantly reminded himself of the importance of his role in life and his duty to society. In his meditations he wrote, "The purpose of life is to live in agreement with nature." For Stoics, living in accordance with your nature means living with purpose, understanding what you are here to do, and aligning your actions with that deeper understanding. But what does it mean to live with purpose? It begins with self-reflection, the process of discovering your core values and understanding your strengths, passions, and abilities. Purpose isn't something that's handed to you. It's something you must discover within yourself. It requires deep introspection and the courage to ask difficult questions. What do I stand for? What do I want to contribute to the world? What do I value most deeply? For many, finding purpose requires trial and error. It's not always clear from the outset, and it may take time to fully understand what gives you meaning. Stoicism teaches that this journey is part of the process. The Stoics didn't expect to have all the answers right away. Instead, they encouraged continuous improvement and adaptation. As you gain more experience, you refine your sense of purpose and adjust your actions accordingly. One key principle in Stoic thought is that your purpose should be aligned with virtue. Stoicism teaches that living a virtuous life, one of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, is the highest form of living. When you live according to virtue, you are not driven by fleeting desires or external validation, but by a commitment to doing what is right. Living with purpose means living in service to these virtues, making choices that contribute to your growth as a person and to the well-being of those around you. Purpose also gives us the strength to face challenges. When life throws us difficulties, having a clear sense of purpose helps us stay focused and resilient. It reminds us of why we're doing what we're doing, and it gives us the motivation to push through adversity. The Stoics understood that hardship is inevitable, but having a clear purpose helps you face these challenges with greater strength and clarity. Finally, purpose brings fulfillment. The pursuit of meaning, rather than pleasure or material gain, leads to lasting contentment. When you focus on living according to your purpose, you stop chasing after empty rewards. Instead, you find satisfaction in the journey itself. Call to action. Like this video if you're ready to find your purpose and live with intention. Comment, "I live with purpose," if you believe that understanding your purpose is the key to a fulfilling life. Section 11. The final call. Master yourself, transform your life. The journey of mastering yourself and transforming your life is not a destination. It's a process, one that requires ongoing commitment, awareness, and action. We've explored the importance of confronting your inner self, embracing adversity, developing discipline, and understanding the power of your mind. But the most critical step in this journey is realizing that you are the one in control. It's through mastering yourself, your thoughts, and your emotions that you unlock the power to transform your life in ways you never thought possible. Self-mastery is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about understanding that every action, Every thought and every decision you make is an opportunity to become better than you were yesterday. Each day, you face challenges that push you to grow. Some days will be easier than others, but as long as you keep moving forward, you're on the right path. The Stoics believed that we should not measure our worth by external achievements, but by the quality of our character and the consistency with which we practice virtue. Through the principles of Stoicism, you can begin to master your emotions, detach from the things that distract you, and use adversity as a tool for growth. The Stoics weren't concerned with how much we accumulate in the material world or how much status we achieve. They cared about how we responded to life's challenges and whether we maintained our integrity throughout. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." In other words, the true measure of your life is not the years you spend on earth, but how fully you engage with each moment and whether you use that time to improve yourself. One of the key insights of Stoicism is understanding that everything you need to succeed is already inside you. The external world is often chaotic and unpredictable, but the Stoic approach teaches us that we have the power to control how we respond to it. You cannot control the actions of others, the weather, or even the circumstances you face, but you can control how you react. The path to transformation begins when you take full responsibility for your reactions, thoughts, and behaviors. A major part of self-mastery is acknowledging that transformation is a lifelong pursuit. There is no finish line, no final destination where you can say, "I am perfect now." Rather, it's about the continual practice of discipline, reflection, and growth. Every setback is an opportunity to learn. Every obstacle is a chance to strengthen your resolve. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By transforming your thoughts, you can transform your actions and ultimately your life. The most powerful takeaway is this: your mindset shapes your destiny. By practicing Stoic principles, you gain the clarity to act with wisdom, courage, and integrity in every moment. When you master yourself, you break free from the limitations that hold you back, and you begin to live a life that is aligned with your deepest values and highest potential. Remember, the journey of self-mastery is not an easy one, but it is the most rewarding path you can take. It's a commitment to lifelong growth, resilience, and transformation. Now, it's your turn to take action. Call to action. Like this video if you're committed to mastering yourself and transforming your life. Comment, "I choose mastery," if you're ready to take control of your thoughts, actions, and destiny. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a step on your path to Stoic mastery. Conclusion. As you continue on the path to self-mastery, remember that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. The journey is long, but the rewards are limitless. Through Stoic practices, discovering yourself, mastering your emotions, embracing adversity, and remaining true to your purpose, you have the power to transform your life from the inside out. True transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and a commitment to continual improvement. It is about aligning your daily actions with your highest values, overcoming the obstacles within and around you, and becoming the person who can face any challenge with wisdom and resilience. So, take a moment and reflect on where you are right now. What are the areas in your life where you need to take responsibility? What habits or beliefs are holding you back from your greatest potential? This is your journey, and only you have the power to shape it. The Stoic path is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who are committed to self-mastery, to making each day better than the last. Thank you for being here today and taking the time to embark on this journey with me. If you found value in this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Stoic Mastery. Turn on notifications so you never miss another step on your path to becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, the power to transform your life lies within you. It's time to master yourself and live the life you were meant to live. Until next time, keep moving forward, stay true to your purpose, and always remember, you are the master of your own destiny.